Hey, it's Nadia with Empower Counseling. Today I want to talk about positive ways to deal with frustration. First, it is important to recognize that frustration can be a positive thing because it lets us know what needs to be changed in order to achieve self-growth and whatever success means for us. You're bound to feel some frustration along the way, and it's a nice little motivator to let you know you got to do something different. So, why don't we quickly do an overview of what frustration can lead to if it's left unaddressed? So first, frustration can cause a lot of sleep problems. So if you're not properly coping with whatever's making you frustrated during the day, you might find that you've got racing thoughts at night, and you just can't get your brain to calm down, and for that reason you can't fall asleep, or you could be having like weird vivid dreams or nightmares, or even just wake up throughout the night and have trouble falling back asleep. So you're just not getting a restful night of sleep. Then next, you might find that it can lead to damaged relationships. So whether it be with your family members, with your coworkers, with your friends, or your partner, frustration that is not addressed can really throw a wrench in all of those relationships. It can also affect your productivity. So whether it's actually getting the whole task done or doing it to what your standards are, when you're not addressing the frustration, it really gets in the way. It causes a lot of issues concentrating, right? So that's what leads to the productivity issues. If you can't concentrate, you can't get things done. And then we have mental health symptoms. So it can cause a lot of pent-up emotions that can lead to anxiety, depression, other kinds of things that you really don't have the time to deal with. And then of course we have the physical symptoms, because our bodies are really great at letting us know when we're not doing something that we need to do to address our emotional needs. So it could be headache, physical pain, muscle pain, stomach issues, high blood pressure, etc., etc. Things that you would need a medical evaluation for diagnosis and proper treatment. So now that that's out of the way, how do we cope? What are the positive things to do when you start to get frustrated? First, take a moment to practice some deep breathing. Oftentimes when we are frustrated or irritable, we can have a tendency to hold our breath. So by breaking up that habit of holding our breath, it's really great to use our mind to focus on our deep breathing, and that also just calms those thoughts because you are centered and focused on your breathing. You're getting the oxygen in and it feels really good, and your brain gets to chill, right? That's good. Brain chilling is always positive. Then another thing is to distance yourself from the problem. If you are able to remove yourself from the problem by taking a little break, if deep breathing didn't work for you in the moment, or if you want to go ahead and distance yourself in order to do the deep breathing, that is a really good idea. Also, when you're distancing yourself, try to do so mentally as well. So a good technique is to ask yourself how your best friend or your confidant would talk to you. So what would they say about the situation? How would they calm you down? What advice would they give you in that moment? Next is to delay decision making. When we are frustrated, our brains don't really operate on full capacity, so we can't make the right decisions. We end up acting on impulse, and that typically leads to regrets later. Really important to delay that decision making. Also very important to pinpoint the source of your frustration. Get down to it. What is it that is making you frustrated? What is it that you need to deal with? That's really important, because how are you going to get through it if you don't really know what it is, right? So also trying to view the situation from the most objective viewpoint you can muster. So totally objective, what would an outsider see in this situation? That can help you separate your own thoughts from the situation, which can help you come up with the right solution for yourself. Next, we have distracting yourself, so working on something different. If you're at work and you can't take a break, maybe change tasks, work on something else in order to minimize and kind of get over that frustration in the moment. Or you could do something you enjoy. So going for a drive, listening to music, talking with friends, playing a game, reading a book. So anything that makes you feel more relaxed in that moment. So also being able to validate the emotion, because it is important to recognize again that frustration can be a very positive thing. So you don't want to dwell on it, but if you deny yourself the opportunity to validate it in that moment, you might find that fighting it is going to lead to it exploding. So it's being left unaddressed. So it's going to boil up. You're going to bottle up until you pop, and you're doing yourself a disservice by not recognizing what needs to be changed. So when we're viewing frustration in terms of change, typically what we're looking at is you need to change something personally or change the situation or the environment. So what does that look like? 2 examples. So say you live in an apartment complex and your neighbor is super noisy. What are your options? Well, you can learn to accept it as part of living in an apartment. You're going to have really annoying, loud neighbors. Or you can change it. Save up to move out to a single family house or somewhere that has better soundproofing. So either you're accepting it or you're making changes that are addressing the frustration and helping alleviate it by doing so. And then if we're going to look at it like work related, here's our other example is if you're at a job where you feel like you just can't grow anymore, that can be really, really frustrating because we get bored. We want to feel like we're growing in some way. So the options here are accepting that you can't grow anymore and just staying in the job, or going out and looking for a job where you can still have some kind of positive growth, right? So we're accepting what it is and we're gonna agree to not feel frustrated, or we're gonna make the changes to get the results that we want. Those are the options. That's typically what that looks like. And so with all that being said, another really powerful way to deal with frustration, of course, is counseling. It's really, really good to process those frustrations, discuss the source of it, and identify the changes that need to be made. Working through that with a counselor is a very powerful thing to do, and counselors are very objective and thus very helpful with the situation. So if you're finding yourself frustrated and you can't do anything on your own to address it and you want the help of a counselor, find one. If you're in Georgia, feel free to give us a call at Empower Counseling at 770-283-8386, or visit our website, www.empowercounseling.net, to meet our therapist, schedule a free consultation, or even an appointment through our client portal, and learn how to better manage your frustration and work on the changes that need to be made.